Have you ever wondered why some people eat eggs every day and still stay healthy, with stable heart function and no fear of heart attack or stroke, while you're still unsure whether eggs raise cholesterol or harm the heart? And is it really true that simply adjusting your breakfast each day could help reduce one of the leading causes of death in people over 50? This video will show you exactly that. We will break down the clear scientific reasons why eating eggs the right way is not only safe, but can also help prevent serious conditions like heart attack and stroke. You will learn what each nutrient in an egg actually does for your heart and brain, something many people have overlooked for decades due to long-standing misconceptions about cholesterol. If you want to stay healthy, live longer, and avoid unexpected medical emergencies as you age, watch this entire video. What you're about to hear could change how you eat breakfast and how you think about your heart for the rest of your life. Before we talk about the benefits of eggs, we need to understand two silent killers you should be aware of every day: heart attack and stroke. These are different conditions in terms of where they happen in the body, but they share a common root cause: damage to blood vessels, chronic inflammation, and blood clots. A heart attack occurs when a coronary artery suddenly becomes blocked, cutting off blood supply to part of the heart muscle, which then begins to die. A stroke, also known as a brain attack, usually happens when a blood vessel in the brain is either blocked by a clot or bursts due to a weak vessel wall, leading to acute brain injury. Even though the symptoms may look different, both conditions are closely linked to high levels of bad cholesterol, chronic inflammation inside blood vessels, and long-term nutritional imbalance. Many people believe cholesterol is the main culprit, but in reality, it's the inflammation in the blood vessels that often triggers clot formation and vascular damage. What you eat every day can either lower or raise the risk of these reactions, and eggs, when consumed properly, can actually support blood vessel healing and help control the very risk factors that lead to heart attack and stroke. This explains why recent studies in the US and Europe are reevaluating the role of eggs in heart-healthy diets. Once considered a food to avoid, eggs are now being recognized as a safe and nutritious option, especially for older adults. With their rich natural nutrient content and their impact on both cardiovascular and central nervous system health, eggs deserve a fair reassessment. In the next section, you'll see why eating eggs the right way can be an effective strategy to help prevent the two most serious health threats for people over 50. The first and most foundational benefit in preventing heart attack is the high-quality protein found in eggs. A medium-sized egg contains about 6 grams of complete protein, meaning it provides all 9 essential amino acids the human body cannot produce on its own. This is especially important for people over 50, as protein synthesis naturally slows down with age, leading to muscle loss, weaker heart function, and a higher risk of heart failure. Protein is not just for building muscle. It plays a key role in repairing heart tissue, supporting cardiac enzymes, and maintaining proper blood plasma balance. According to the National Institute on Aging, people who consume enough protein from whole food sources, especially minimally processed animal proteins like eggs, tend to have more stable blood pressure and a significantly lower risk of heart failure over a 10-year period. Unlike red or processed meats, which may contain preservatives, sodium, and trans fats, eggs offer a pure, easily digestible protein that does not place stress on the liver or kidneys when eaten in appropriate amounts. This makes eggs an ideal breakfast choice for older adults, particularly those managing blood pressure or recovering from cardiovascular events. It's important to cook eggs in a way that preserves their nutritional value. Boiling or steaming are the best methods, as they maintain protein integrity and avoid the oxidative damage caused by high-heat frying. If you're looking for a safe protein source to support heart health, eggs should be at the top of your daily food list. Starting with 1 to 2 eggs each morning, you may begin to notice improvements in your energy, endurance, and even blood pressure after just a few weeks of consistent intake. The second benefit comes from a nutrient that often goes unnoticed but is critically important for both the heart and the brain. One egg contains about 150 milligrams of choline, which provides nearly 30% of the recommended daily intake for adults. Choline is a key building block of acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter essential for memory, muscle control, and heart rhythm regulation. In older adults, choline deficiency can impair cognitive function and increase the risk of atherosclerosis by raising levels of homocysteine, a harmful amino acid linked to stroke and heart disease. Many people are unaware that low choline levels can negatively affect the liver, leading to fat accumulation and widespread inflammation. This can disrupt lipid metabolism and increase blood fat levels. When the liver's ability to process bad cholesterol declines, it raises the risk of plaque buildup in the arteries. Getting enough choline from eggs supports the efficient transport of fats through the bloodstream, helping to prevent blockages and reduce the risk of heart attack. On the neurological level, choline also helps protect the myelin sheath that insulates nerve fibers, allowing signals to transmit more quickly and reliably. This is especially important for aging adults, as conditions like dementia, Alzheimer's disease, and ischemic stroke often involve nervous system degeneration. Eating eggs regularly helps maintain steady blood choline levels, which supports brain function and healthy blood flow to the brain. If you want to protect both your heart and your brain after age 50, choline is a key nutrient you cannot afford to overlook, and eggs are one of the most effective natural sources. Eating 1 to 2 eggs daily can help improve memory, maintain a stable heart rhythm, and significantly reduce the risk of stroke and age-related neurological decline. The third benefit, often overlooked, is vitamin K2. Found in egg yolks, this vitamin plays a critical role in preventing arterial calcification. When it comes to heart health, we often focus on cholesterol, blood pressure, and glucose levels, but we forget that one silent contributor to stroke or heart attack is calcium buildup in the wrong places, especially in the arterial walls. Calcium, when not properly directed, does not accumulate in the bones, but instead deposits in the artery walls. This leads to plaque buildup, hardening of the vessels, and reduced arterial elasticity. As a result, blood flow becomes restricted, blood pressure increases, the heart must work harder, and the environment becomes ideal for blood clots to form. Vitamin K2 activates a protein called MGP, which helps guide calcium away from the arteries and toward the bones where it is actually needed. A European study that followed more than 7,000 older adults over 10 years found that those with a diet rich in vitamin K2 had over a 30% lower risk of dying from cardiovascular disease compared to those with low K2 intake. Eggs, especially those from pasture-raised chickens, are among the best natural sources of vitamin K2. Unlike standalone calcium supplements, eggs provide a biologically synergistic package, including vitamin D, protein, and K2 to support safe calcium absorption and transport. After age 50, the risk of arterial calcification increases significantly, especially in people with a history of high blood pressure, diabetes, or osteoporosis. Eating eggs in moderation, along with regular physical activity and a diet rich in leafy greens, can help manage this condition naturally and safely. This is a simple but powerful step to protect your heart from sudden events like heart attack or stroke caused by ruptured arteries. The fourth benefit of eggs is vitamin D, a nutrient that goes far beyond bone health and plays a critical role in cardiovascular function, immune regulation, and the central nervous system. In fact, recent studies have shown a strong link between low vitamin D levels and increased risk of high blood pressure, heart failure, atherosclerosis, and especially ischemic stroke. Vitamin D helps regulate blood pressure by controlling the hormone renin, which causes blood vessels to constrict and increases pressure on the heart. When vitamin D is lacking, the body overproduces renin, leading to frequent vessel constriction, damage to the arterial walls, and a higher chance of blood clot formation. Additionally, vitamin D has anti-inflammatory effects, helping to reduce chronic inflammation inside the arteries, a key driver behind most cardiovascular events. One egg provides about 10% of your daily vitamin D needs, and if it's from pasture-raised chickens exposed to natural sunlight, that amount can be nearly twice as high. For people over 50, the skin's ability to produce vitamin D from sun exposure declines due to aging, making natural food sources like eggs increasingly important. Eating eggs regularly, combined with light morning walks or brief sun exposure each day, can help maintain stable vitamin D levels in the blood, which in turn helps protect the heart and brain from early degeneration. Moreover, vitamin D supports proper calcium absorption, helping to prevent calcium from settling in the arteries, as discussed earlier. The natural combination of vitamin D and K2 found in eggs creates a biological mechanism that regulates mineralization, keeping blood vessels flexible, bones strong, and reducing the risk of stroke caused by arterial rupture. With just 1 or 2 eggs a day, you can add a valuable source of vitamin D to your diet without relying entirely on supplements or artificial sunlight. This is a practical, accessible solution, especially suitable for older adults with limited mobility or high cardiovascular risk. The fifth benefit of eggs, often overlooked but extremely important for older adults, is the presence of 2 powerful antioxidants, lutein and zeaxanthin. These are natural carotenoids best known for protecting vision, but few people realize they also help shield small blood vessels in the brain and eyes, slowing vascular degeneration and preventing microvascular damage that can lead to stroke. Recent epidemiological studies have found that higher blood levels of lutein are associated with reduced vascular inflammation, lower oxidative stress in nerve cells, and improved endothelial function. This is particularly important after age 50, when the brain's capillaries start to weaken, blood flow declines, and the risk of ischemia increases. Regular intake of lutein and zeaxanthin helps protect nerve cells from damage, supports stable function of the brain's microcirculation, and significantly lowers the risk of stroke. One egg, especially the yolk, contains a high level of bioavailable lutein and zeaxanthin that the body can absorb much more efficiently than from leafy greens or supplements. While vegetables provide lutein in its raw form, eggs offer it in a fat-soluble ester form, allowing for better absorption and direct transport to the retina and neural tissues. This is why eating eggs regularly not only supports vision, but also improves vascular elasticity and brain function, especially during the aging process. For older adults, especially those experiencing blurry vision, memory lapses, difficulty concentrating, or who are managing blood pressure, including eggs in their daily diet is a simple but effective way to help prevent cognitive decline and stroke. Eggs are not just nourishment for the body, they provide critical nutrients that support the tiny blood vessels in the brain and eyes, 2 areas most vulnerable to aging. The sixth benefit is also one of the most debated over the past decades: cholesterol in eggs. Many people, particularly those over 50, still worry that eating eggs will raise bad cholesterol and lead to heart attacks. But this is a widespread misunderstanding rooted in outdated studies. In reality, dietary cholesterol does not directly translate to blood cholesterol. The body tightly regulates its internal cholesterol levels. When dietary intake increases, the liver compensates by reducing its own cholesterol production to maintain balance. One egg contains about 185 milligrams of cholesterol, primarily in the yolk. However, many recent studies have shown that consuming 1 to 2 eggs per day does not significantly raise LDL, bad cholesterol, in most healthy individuals. In fact, eggs can increase HDL, the good cholesterol, that helps transport excess fat out of the arteries and back to the liver for processing. HDL is a key factor in cardiovascular protection and helps prevent the buildup of arterial plaque. Furthermore, cholesterol plays an essential role in building cell membranes, producing sex hormones, synthesizing vitamin D, and supporting neurotransmitters. Eliminating cholesterol entirely from the diet can lead to reduced energy, memory issues, and impaired hormone function, especially in older adults. If you have high LDL levels, the key is not to avoid eggs, but to manage your overall diet, reduce trans fats, sugar, and processed foods. Eating eggs the right way can help balance cholesterol levels, not increase your risk, but actually support long-term heart health. For those over 50, maintaining a routine of 1 to 2 eggs per day is not only safe, but also beneficial for stabilizing blood lipids, improving HDL levels, and preventing atherosclerosis. It's a small change that brings big results if you listen to your body and pair it with a healthy lifestyle. We've just covered 6 core benefits of eating eggs daily for heart and brain health. From complete proteins that help repair heart muscle tissue to choline that supports nerve function and controls homocysteine, from vitamin K2 that redirects calcium away from artery walls, to vitamin D that helps regulate blood pressure and boost immunity, from lutein that protects microvascular health in the brain, to the ability of eggs to balance internal cholesterol levels, each nutrient in eggs plays a vital role in protecting blood vessels, improving heart function, and reducing the risk of stroke and heart attack. These are not just theories. They've been backed by long-term epidemiological studies conducted on thousands of older adults across the US, Europe, and Asia. Many major heart health organizations have begun updating their guidelines regarding egg consumption in adult diets. The old fear that cholesterol in eggs leads directly to heart attacks no longer holds the same scientific weight. The real issue isn't the egg itself, but how we incorporate it into our overall diet and lifestyle. If you're over 50 and have a history of high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, or have experienced chest pain, rebuilding your diet should no longer be delayed. And eggs, when used properly, can absolutely be a central part of a heart-smart meal plan. You don't need a dramatic overhaul. Just 1 to 2 eggs in the morning, paired with leafy greens, healthy fats, and mindful carb control can significantly lower your cardiovascular risk in just a few months. Most importantly, pay attention to your body, get regular blood tests, and don't let unverified rumors guide your choices. Choose clean eggs, preferably from pasture-raised hens, cook them in healthy ways like boiling or steaming, and combine them with regular movement, good sleep, and stress management. Your heart doesn't need trendy advice. It needs consistent, proper nutrition every day. And eggs, with their full spectrum of biological value, are a small but powerful gift you can give your health every morning. Now you know. A single egg isn't just a simple food. It's a powerful tool for protecting your heart, keeping your mind sharp, and supporting your overall health after 50. No supplement can match the complete biological nutrients found in an egg. And it's no coincidence that eggs have been a staple of traditional breakfasts across cultures for hundreds of years. When used the right way, eggs not only nourish the body, but also help you fight off silent threats like heart attacks and strokes. Start tomorrow morning. Add 1 egg to your breakfast. Take note of the changes in your energy, memory, blood pressure stability, and how long you feel full. These small but clear signals show your body is being properly nourished. And if you found this video truly helpful, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with your loved ones, friends, especially those dealing with heart health issues, so they too can take control of their health in simple but meaningful ways. If you'd like to keep receiving accurate, practical medical information that helps you live longer and live better, don't forget to follow the channel. We'll continue bringing you useful, science-backed content that's easy to apply, especially for you, those who value every year of life. Thank you for watching until the end. Live mindfully, eat smart, and protect your heart every day.